we have to look out for the flanks. There's going to be a lot of flanks on this map.
Absolutely, there are lots of available flank routes. Well, I say available.
Left
there are
and right.
There's only the left and the right, but it's quite contested down the mid. We see a Machine and 96 comp coming out from Chewits Mafia, and we see a V Blaster and a Rapid Blaster coming out from Infrared. Jasmine is a very, very strong Rapid player and is probably aiming for comfort over sort of the best weapons in this moment, as Chano is looking to push down this right-hand side, and there's 3 people on the right-hand side of the map for Infrared. It's Chris trying to find any value on top of mid, looking close. That's someone down on the bottom left. That's a 3v4 situation. The strikes come out from Infrared, looking to take any value. That's a big shot from Chris, trying to find any value off the 96. It's going to have to back away.
Now we have Samish taking a fight on the left and has actually killed Jakey. We have a Splat as well. Yeah, there we go. Jasmine down too. 3 down.
And that's a forced jump out from Jake, who was the last man standing, as Chewits can take all of this space in this court here. As we look at the overhead view, we can see how much control that Chewits have right now. Just trying to hold this switch area and this tent area, trying not to let anyone walk in. As Jakey trying to drop on this right-hand side, perhaps backing off, knowing that he's being watched, just waiting for an opening, waiting for any kind of special. They're probably waiting for the strikes. But no, that's the jet gone down. Jasmine is going to get taken out. And could Chano and Chris combine to get rid of Jess? And that's Andy pushing in against Chris on switch. Managing to find one, and the strikes go out. But the zone is so close to being caught. But it's being contested. Andy's gone down. Chano is in Booyah, and Jess is trying to salvage this at the last second. But it's a flip from Chewits, and Chewits take game number 1.
They nearly had it there at the end. They got the retake nearly.
It was very close because we saw that Andy was creating an opening on that left-hand side with the heavy edit, pushing very aggressively, realizing that their teammates had gone down and that he needed to create some space for his team to move forward. I would sort of criticize the play from Jake and Jess a bit because they seemed to have been a bit slow and not aware of what the plan was. But also great play from Chewits to recognize the areas that their opponents were standing in on that 10 and on that switch and shutting it down easily.
Absolutely. Chewits did a really good job of holding the zone and stopping that retake. They didn't just sit in the zone, they took the court and ensured that Infrared had to use specials to even reclaim that space before even getting to the zone.
And you can see how the impact of the pencil pick was in that final sort of 20 seconds as Ips was locking that zone down with almost no contention, being able to shoot away at such a safe position with Jess trying to push them off and maybe get the kill to secure the team a flip on the zone. But we also saw the picks from Chris and Chano as well initially in that build-up before that last moment, and that really was more of a more calculated effort from Chewits compared to what we saw of Infrared.
Yes, absolutely. I do feel like tower control could be a different story though, however, because Infrared's comp does actually favor tower control as a mode quite a fair bit, with especially the double blaster choose. Yeah,
we have to think about how that area of effect damage does against those sort of like your shot and your pencil that are sort of more linear in how they shoot, right?
Absolutely.
And also for tower, it's very easy just to poke away at the tower with blasters, and especially with the strikes on the bucket. We'd love to see if Infrared can make a comeback in this best of 3 set.
Absolutely. We're now getting into ship shape tower control right now. Sticking with the same comps as well.
And that is a T-Tech this time from Samage, actually, opting for that over the Zuko, probably recognizing that they played Bubble the last game, Infrared. But just to switch to the Custom Blaster this time, it actually has triple splashdown, so maybe this might have been an oversight.
I actually don't think it was, personally, as strikes are really strong on tower control for stalling pushes and tech points.
Jess trying to push this right-hand side. Jess has gone down already for her efforts. Trades in mid, that's Chano gone down, so we watch Chris's POV. Dodging and dancing. Samage pops a strike out. They're looking to clear off this right-hand side that they've given up so early. As Jake goes down, Andy trying to trade out, manages to get one in Samage. Chano and Chris manage to clean up. Chano, again, dropping onto Jess, manages to find the pick, just Jess. Looking for more, but traded out by Samage.
We have Samage fighting on the bottom right, backing away. And the Kraken is pushing in. Going to that left, going for Andy. Will Andy get away? He does, but Chris now has that space.
But look at that, Dan has gone down on that mid position without Cooler, and that's huge for Infrared if they can get any more picks. But Jasmine is shut down in a 2v1. Chris is spacing out Jake, and Jake has to jump out, and they finally regain control of the map. Chewits Mafia once again are pushing first.
They do have that control on the left, and Infrared are being stuck on the top right. They have even been pushed away by the strikes. This should, in theory, be a checkpoint secured for Chewits. But there's a Cooler being pushed out, and Jasmine is trying to get away, but there's a Kraken. Kraken's pushing the spawn.
That's 2 down for the side of Chewits Mafia, excuse me. Infrared collapse on this tower. They did manage to break the checkpoint. Channel's gone down. It's just Chris left. Savage getting a shark in off the jump. No one might have seen this coming off of the Kraken respawn. Jake is hunting for it. He maybe knows it's there. Jasmine turns around, and that's going to be Savage dead.
The shark wasn't quite successful. Infrared knew what it was, and they did a very good job of pulling it out for awareness. Now there's a cooler being popped, and Infrared are going to push in with the inkjet to try and secure that left control side their map to try and start getting a push going.
The inkjet being smoke screened by the teammates' tri-strikes actually, but and Andy's finally moving the tower, but Chano's on another long flank on the right side. That is right, that's 2 down, and that's Jasmine down. It's just Andy left, jumps in from Jess on the triple splash, and doesn't find anything. Looking for someone, Samage perhaps. Samage is just clearing her out, and she has to back away as Chewits regain control of this mid.
The cooler is also popped on the side of Chewits, I believe, so they are going to push out with that and the strikes. And they managed to find the kill on to JT with the shark.
Jasmine dropping onto Jake, maybe finding one, but no, that's a collapse from 2, and has forced to jump out with the cooler, unfortunately, and pops the jet immediately as a response, trying to find anything. Jasmine getting what maybe I would argue quite desperate, maybe can find one, no, another jump out from Chewits, and that's their lives still in the balance as Chewits are trying to push this tower just a little bit more. Samage and Ips combined for the trade. Ips is going to get the cooler out, but so is Jasmine trying to push away from this cooler. Chano coming to help, looking for any kind of chip damage, as you say, but Andy has pushed them out.
And another Kraken is popped, which means Jess and Andy might be in a bit of trouble. Oh wait, it's going after Jasmine instead. Getting all that space, and meaning that Chewits can push it through for more control.
Chano is riding the tower towards his right hand side, noticing that members of Infrared were just collapsing on the left. And that's allowed them to get
on the right.
They're getting more points in. Andy will drop forward, but it's going to back away. No, is actually dropping into the pit, and they're going to. That's Jake actually. That's also Andy gone down. A trade. Jake managing to find one. The strikes are panic. The Booyah will find one. Jess has gone down, but that's also 3
on both sides.
3 with on both sides as Ips has to back away and respect this poke ability from Jasmine. As the pack goes out very early. Jasmine hunting for anyone. Chano goes down early. Chris looking to stop Infrared from taking this left-hand side. It's getting a lot closer than the first game as we see finally Infrared start to try and take control of this left-hand side of the map.
They pulled that cooler, they're getting ready to push in. Jasmine is holding that chip on damage on the right, but Chano is pushing out. Jasmine gets the pick. They're still holding left. The strikes are out. They are pushing them back.
And that's Andy with a free reign over this tower as Jake has control of his left-hand side. Chewits are going to look to ignore this and try and play on the right-hand side, but that's falling into Jess's blaster. This is the strengths you were talking about before we went into this game, how the inkjet and the blaster are getting so much value. Jess! Surely someone's going to touch the tower and keep this going. Chano managing to find one. Chano, can he get a second?
Chano's holding on. He does not want them to carry on. But Jasmine says no. Jasmine is carrying on.
And there we go, finally the cleanup, but that's so much points from Infrared. Might just be enough, but they didn't quite get to the checkpoint and weren't able to maybe break it. Perhaps it could have been more clean, but it might be some of the nerves starting to show for Infrared that they couldn't close it out. But they still do have a lead that they can defend in these final moments. Yeah. But that's 1 down already, that's Samage looking to over-aggress. Chris finds one. Chris looking for a second. The RNG on the 96 guard not quite favouring, and Jasmine is forced to jump.
I've just noticed, Jakey is holding those tri-strikes.
The right Scranton comes out, looking for anyone. Jake escaping to this top left-hand corner, trying to survive with these tri-strikes to end this game and take us to game 3. He's going to pop them now.
Strikes.
1 down in the front. That's Samage gone. A trade. Jess is down. Chano is getting chased by Andy. Andy's going to touch the tower. And that is game. And we are going to a game 3 in our first set of the day.
Now, that was definitely different than game 1. It was a lot closer. And Infrared did an amazing job getting that push back in.
Right. It was great looking at Infrared, seeing how not only the switch to the custom blaster and sort of the more confidence they had going in, sort of taking the fight to Chewits Mafia, taking more space, realizing that Chewits were giving up a lot more of that space, right?
Yes, so absolutely. The Chewits were playing for their lives. They ran away and they basically went to their spawn. So that meant Jess and Jasmine had the entire area of their drops to play with around their weapons, that's where you want to be when you're a blaster.
As we go into our final map, which will be Clan Blitz on Scorch Gorge, the decider for our game 3 of our first round robin set. It'll be interesting to see if Chewits Mafia are going to respond after that, because they had a lot of control in the first half of that game. It seemed that in like the second half they sort of tried to force the issue a bit too much, perhaps, especially after they had lost the lead. They relied on Chano to sort of stem the bleeding, and then off the back of that, they managed to clean up fairly fairly easily. But as they were progressing back into mid and trying to push that top left once more and back into court, it seemed like that Infrared just had more control of like those left and right sides of the map, and they didn't let Chewits walk in, especially with Chano. Chano likes to play very aggressively. They're shutting those down very quickly. Samage especially, we saw in those moments that he was rushing in quite a lot and he was getting taken out in 2v1 situations. It seems that Infrared have managed to stabilize themselves, and this might help them and give them this momentum going into this final game.
Yes, absolutely. And also, Infrared were playing around their specials very well. They were playing around the inkjets to push up on the top left and the top right to poke at people, even with the blaster damage as well to combo with it. And they were also holding onto those tri-strikes, ready to counter the checkpoint pushes, which in the end also helped them win the game.
As we're just waiting for the last player to ready up, and there we are, battle time for our game number 3 of our first set of Splat Legacy. Who will take it? Will it be Chewits, Mafia, Sparking Flavor, or will it be Infrared?
We'll find out now, won't we?
We absolutely will, as we've seen Chano switch
the
to
anti-dynamo.
that bucket, and also that dynamo from Andy's signature. Also, I think signature from both teams really sticking to their guns here, their roots. What do they know they're good at?
It's always better to play what you're comfortable with than what's defined as meta.
Andy's playing this one for Cooler. We don't need to watch that.
We do not need to watch the anti-cooler.
And it goes out on Jess. A jump out from the bottom right of Jakey, but Chris has gone down very early without the Cooler. This might be a room for Infrared to push forward as Jasmine is trying to poke his bottom left-hand side. Tags one. Jess trying to find any value, but that's Chano at the front. Managing to find one. Everyone's going to drop on him. Andy's going to trade him out. They're coolered. Zuka from Samage is going to get cancelled out by, I believe that was Jess. Chris trying to hold the space on this left run. 2 looking at him. Going to jump out. Chano's jumped in and has been punished for it. And that's going to give Infrared control of this ramp. Not quite. I think that's a pick from Dan, from Ips, that's managed to stem this bleeding and allow Chewits to regain themselves.
Yeah, they are retaking their plat now. They are holding that space. And eventually, when they get some specials, I imagine we'll see some pushing out. But they have to get out of those tri-strikes first.
We are back. Sorry, the screen did just go off for a couple of seconds. I do apologize, but we are back in action as Chano trying to defend this left ramp. That's a death from Samage as Jasmine sharking on this left-hand side, looking for any value, managing to find Chano, caught in strikes. That was Jess, excuse me. And our screen's gone off once more. But we are back. Chano is back. As we go to the opposite side of the map, Jess trying to stop Chris from getting any value. Chris managed to find her. Chris looking to poke the enemy ramp now. Infrared trying to stabilize.
Jasmine is poking back though.
That's true, but Chano does have these strikes. He's going to pick up some clams before popping them.
They also have 8 clams. They do have enough for a power clam, and they might be prepared for push. They are definitely going in now after those picks.
That's 2 picks. That's Jasmine and Jess. That's both of the AoE's gone down. And Jake and Risu are left to defend all by themselves.
They have the cooler, so they are ready to fight.
But the strikes from Chano as they look to walk the ball in.
Strikes on Jake
the
as well.
Zuka from Samage. Somehow Matrix dodges Jake. Managed to find 1. That's 2 from
down.
Jake. And they didn't score the ball. They missed, actually. Chewits missed the ball, and now they can't push, and Dan is forced back.
Well, that means they have lost a lot of space. As we can see, Andy and Jasmine and Jess are actually all pushing their ramp. And Jakey's poking below on the bottom left. Might get Chano. Samage is down. So Jakey's been going down too.
Yep.
Chano has been forced to jump, I believe, though. Wait, he's been blasted. Never mind.
You see him return short with Jasmine on this bottom right hand side with the jet, looking to use it at some point. The cooler's gone out. She's going to pick this up. She's probably going to move it off of this pick from Jess, which is huge. It's a great situation. Should be popping it now. Looking for the pen. Can Ips stay alive? Yes, they can. As Samage is sniped out in the air. Goodness me, Jasmine, what a shot. And another one, Ips. Oh my. But they have no power climb. They need to build one soon. As Jake gives Jess the clams, is going to score it, and Jess is looking to prolong this push. They get the first score finally. And Chano goes down. Looking for 2. Someone might need to put this ball in. Jasmine is dead, but Jakey manages to put it in. That's a huge score, but the cleanup is there, and Andy gets 2! Andy looking for more as the jump-ins from Jess and the rest of their team are going to come in, but it looks like they're going to back up slowly, and that push is going to end there from only 60 from that push.
Yes, but a push is still a push at the end of the day. However, Chewits do need to get out of their spawn so they can try and counter this back. But Andy and Jakey are holding them back on the bottom left.
Chris looking to drop on Jasmine.
2 down.
Any kind of value. Jasmine and Jakey combining, trying to find this. Chris drops onto Jasmine. Jasmine jumps out, and that's 1 down on the court side of Infrared. Bazooka comes out from Samage and Chano. Ips, manages to score the ball in, but they do have a lot of clams. You're correct, and that's a huge pick. And the strike come out from Chano. And the screen's gone out again, but that's probably going to be the lead when the screen comes back on. Yes, that's right.
Absolutely.
That's all of their scores gone in. Ips is going to jump out, and Chris looking for any more value in this mid. They're going to keep an eye on him. He tries to find any value, looking for anyone, dropping it early. He's going to get Marge. He's going to have to back off.
Try and hold as much space as he can, so they don't have to use it. They have to use more specials to push back in. And here we go. Jasmine Inkjet is out right now. Going for the pencil, I believe. Oh, actually, it's Samage. Sandwich is down.
It's a huge pick. Can they play off of this infrared? They're going
They
to pop
have the
strikes as
cooler
well.
too. They're popping in.
Jess is going to run in. Is going to get killed by the splat bomb into the splash wall, I believe.
Another
And
one
that's
down as well.
Another down as Jess jumps back in, trying to poke this snipe area that Chewits are defending with their life. That's another down on the left-hand side. That's 2 down.
3 down.
That's huge.
Last is Andy. Andy's down.
They're going to rush this. They're going to hard rush this. Samage running in fast as possible, trying to get this ball in. And there's a huge push from Samage. It's going to find one with the assist from Chris. And looks like Chewits are going to take away this game. They only need just a few more clamps, but Jess has collapsed early.
They are now 3 down. This push is probably over as it's no longer sustainable to push in. Yes, Dan and Itz is backing away on the ramp. Chano is jumping in though, and so is Samage. They are trying to hold as much space as possible.
Throwing clamps off the map to make sure that if they die, that infrared aren't able to capitalize off of the amount of clamps that are still left on the map. And again, Chewits no clamps in the hand, only a ball and a few for infrared as the strikes are popped from Jake. He's going to try running in with this. Chewits sitting back, letting them walk in. Jess has gone down, and the pack is out as well, trying to find any value. And he's going to rush in with the ball, but the Zuka is popped, as you said. Is the Zuka going to find anyone? Not quite, and the ball can't be pushed in just yet. They're going to try and walk in. Another splashdown attempt from Jess is throwing the ball in just about. They're going to get the score. But Jess has gone down. Sam is traded, and that's Andy down as well. It's only 2 people left.
It's just Andy.
It's just Andy, and it's not going to be enough, I don't think. And that's a wipe. And Chewits are going to take your first set 2-1 in Splat Legacy round 1.
Oh, what a banger of a set that was to start the day.
Yeah, that was great from Chewits, showing that even though normally during the group stage they do get quite shaky, that they can still bounce back, and that was impressive from them. They showed a similar sort of performance in the group stage at Splat Vibes 2. And yeah, a great win for them. This is especially a good warm-up going to the rest of today.
Absolutely, and Infrared, they came in fighting, and I'm very excited to see what they want to show us in the rest of the day and in the rest of the sets.
And also not a horrible showing from Infrared either. They looked ready. They looked ready to fight. They looked very good. They managed to take a game. This is going to be really good for them in their next sets as well, as they look to fight Yours Mammothly and Distinct. They'll definitely be able to take games, potentially even a win off Yours Mammothly if they play like they...
If they keep playing the way they are, like they're playing together, popping their specials together, taking ground together, they are all on the same page. They are pushing up together. They are not disjointed. If they keep doing that, they'll absolutely take some games and even take a round win.
Yeah, because it feels like Infrared, they had their system of play was very cutthroat, and you could see what it is they were trying to do, right, with the organizing those pushes, with the strikes, with the triple splashdowns, but they just couldn't find the picks they needed to get the openings going.
To me, what it looked like was it felt like Chewits knew exactly what they were doing, because it was very, very instructed and instrumental, to the point where Chewits were like, oh, you're going to do this, therefore we counter it with this. There was a lot of counterplay that was seen. And also, Chewits are known for being quite spontaneous with their kills, especially Chano and Samage and Chris, with the help of Dan. Like, they will just come in and they will ruin your plans by just doing something unexpected.